Hello, welcome back to Wendy PauletConsults TV. I'm Chinwe. First of all, I want to apologize for being away for 2 whole weeks. I had a lot going on and I needed to figure out a way to manage all of them. I'm back now. Thank you to all our new subscribers. I see you. Make sure you sign up for our newsletter to get notified whenever we upload new videos. The link is in the description box below. Let's do this. In this video, I'm going to be answering one of the most popular questions I've received. People often ask me, what business can I start with as low as 100,000 naira? Yeah, I know, right? It's like a jam question. I don't know what you guys think of me to be asking me that question, but I really appreciate that. Like, it makes me feel like, these people really think I can give them this answer. I've been thinking about it, I've been researching, I've been asking other people, and I decided to answer, and I hope this answer helps you. I've actually answered all the people that asked me this question, but I felt the need to address it on a larger scale because I believe most of the people that ask me this question, what I really get is that they're not asking for a business idea, they're asking for a quick fix. I mean, like, the question is, which business can I start with 100,000 naira? But what they really want to know is, how can I double 100,000 naira real quick? Like, where can I put my money? I don't give that kind of advice. Like, I can't tell you where you can double your money real quick because I know that's not how it works. I'm going to give you the list of the business you can do with 100,000 naira or less, but it's not about, okay, now I have 100,000 naira, let me start this business. There are so many other things to consider. Like, are you even interested in that business? What kind of solution do you want to deliver through that business? Like, why are you doing that business? To me, I think those are more important factors to consider when you want to start a business, because business is so dynamic, and money, like the amount of money you have, is just a single factor that determines which business you start. Like, there are so many other things to consider, and basing your whole decision on the money you have, I don't think that's the smartest thing to do. That being said, I'm going to give you business ideas you can start with 100,000 naira or less. First is outdoor catering. I know, right? And this outdoor catering is not like to the level of speed meals or all those big outdoor caterers, you know. It's just to the level of making small chops for birthday parties and all those things. Maybe attaching yourself to an established caterer. Maybe they have a project to cater a wedding and they need someone to provide the small chops. You can key in and do that. Buying items for small chops, I'm sure it will be less than 100,000 naira, and even if it's not less than 100,000 naira, you'll be paid for that job. So you can use the money to buy the food stuff required and then the packaging you need to present your small chops. Another business you can start with 100,000 naira or less is real estate business. Sounds very capital intensive, but you can actually start a real estate business with less than 100,000 naira, because what you need is to sell houses. You don't necessarily need to buy houses or build houses of your own to be a real estate agent. The major thing you're required to do as a real estate agent is to sell. With 100,000 naira or less, you can get yourself tutored on how to be a salesperson, a great salesperson. You can print your complimentary cards and go for events where you network with people that own properties or other real estate companies and see how you can attach yourself. It's really not that deep. Another business you can start with 100,000 naira or less is consulting business. I mean, you can be any type of consultant. You can be a beauty consultant, you can be a health coach. You can start consulting business with as little as 100,000 naira. Just like the real estate business, you need to get certified to some level to be able to give people that kind of advice, even if it's not in paper, at least let it be in working experience. Another business you can do with 100,000 naira or less is makeup artistry. Like, you can be a makeup artist with less than 100,000 naira. I know makeup is very expensive, don't get me wrong, but I'm sure you can get like a palette of different foundations for a reasonable amount of price, maybe 15, 20 or 30k, and concealers and all those like brushes and stuff. You can get a certain amount of product with 100,000 naira or less, and then start with maybe your friends, your family, and just start building up from there. And please, I apologize if you're a makeup artist or you're an outdoor caterer that is watching this video and you're thinking, that girl thinks that with 100,000 naira I can start all this business. What I just mean is on the scrappy level. I don't mean doing it on a large scale, I mean doing it on the scrappiest level, something you can bootstrap. Do you understand? That's what I mean. Another business you can start with 100,000 naira or less is lesson business, like tutoring primary school students or secondary school students. Yes, parents prefer taking their children to like a structured lesson environment and all. But the truth is that if you have a lot of family members that have plenty small children and you've proven yourself to them that you are smart to some level, they might want to entrust their kids to your hands because they feel like you can impact some knowledge. And business has started. If you can get someone to pay for what you're willing to offer, it's business right there. So you can start lesson business. All you need to do, maybe get the right curriculum, look for where to download it from or the school to get it from, get the right textbooks and the right materials, study it, develop your own curriculum or your own teaching plan, and then start it. And this is something you can do with 100,000 naira or less. You don't need to pay for rent, you don't need to pay for salary because you are the staff and their house is your venue. So it's just to carry your materials, pay for your transport fare from that 100,000 naira and go to work. So that's another business you can do with 100,000 naira or less. That's 5 now, right? I'm going to try to give you up to 10 ideas so you can just go crazy. Another business you can start with 100,000 naira or less is tailoring. The last time I checked, the range of a brand new sewing machine is from 70,000 naira to 85,000 naira. So you can actually buy a sewing machine and start tailoring. I mean the basic tailoring, not fashion design, you know, when someone brings material to you and gives you a style and you just sew it for them and they pay you. That's what I mean, that tailoring. If you have the skill of tailoring, it's just about starting with yourself. You can get materials as cheap as 500 naira a yard and sew some nice styles for yourself and market it first of all, then attract people, attract your friends, attract your family members, charge them as little as 1,500 for 2,000 naira to sew for them, and business has started. And another way you can make a lot of money through tailoring is by just repairing clothes. Because most people are so invested in creating new clothes, they forget that our old clothes need to be fixed. Like maybe you want to shape it. Someone like me that shapes all my clothes, like I need to go somewhere and know that this person is a professional shaper. I don't know if that's a word, but someone that can shape your clothes, like can give it life. So it's a business you can start with 100,000 naira or less. If you are good with sewing, even if you're not perfect with different styles, I know you can shape clothes, you can cut trousers, like that's a business. Especially if you're a student, instead of trying to put your head in that saturated market of, oh, I'm a fashion designer, I'm not a tailor, I'm a fashion. Instead of just putting yourself through that stress, you can just start fixing clothes for people, fixing their button, fixing their zip, shaping their clothes, cutting their trouser. There is money there. Sincerely speaking, this is something I told my younger brother because he's very good at sewing. Like, this is a business you can start. You build up from there, you scale up easily from there. And personally, if I could sew, that's kind of sewing I'll be doing. I'll just be fixing clothes for people because it doesn't take much time, it doesn't take much skills, it doesn't take much resources. So if you can sew and you have a sewing machine or you have 100,000 naira, you can go and buy a sewing machine and start with fixing clothes for people. From there, you can raise money to scale to a fashion designer or a proper tailor with shops and apprentices. Number 7. We're getting there. Another business you can start with 100,000 naira or less is hairdressing. First of all, you have to have the skill, the ability to stand for long, and the patience to deal with clients. Because girls can be so demanding when you're making their hair. They'll tell you, why are you braiding that way? Like, why are you going straight? I want you to curve your hand. You have to be able to deal with all that. So if you can braid or fix weave, you can start your own hairdressing business. You don't need to get a shop. You can just scale up from Instagram, make your mom's hair, your sister's hair, your cousin's hair, your neighbor's hair, showcase it there, and then people can call you if you're going for home service. You need shampoo, hair conditioner. You just need all those basic things, and 100,000 naira or less should be able to afford that. Another business you can start with 100,000 naira or less is styling. Yeah, it's a business now. I mean, with the age of social media, styling has become like a huge industry. All you need is the network and the packaging. By packaging, I mean yourself, because you can't be a stylist and you're looking like a mad person. And you should also know that styling is not about the price of the clothes you're wearing, but the way you express yourself through the clothes you're wearing. So you can be wearing something as cheap as 5k. I mean, 5k is cheap for some people, but I don't know if it's cheap for you, but I'm just saying, you can be wearing something as cheap as 5k, but the way you put it together is very appealing and people feel you, like they feel your swag. As a stylist, what you're selling is a lifestyle, so you have to be that lifestyle, you have to embody that lifestyle. And when you do that with all your packaging on point, you put yourself in the right places, talk to people, sell. It's not about saying, oh, I'm a stylist. You have to be able to sell that. Convince me that you're a stylist. Why should I hire you? Another business you can start with 100,000 naira or less is web development. If you can write codes or design a website, you can do that as a business. I don't know if you know this, but there are platforms where you can buy domain names for as low as 1,000 naira. So with your 100,000 naira, you need to start selling yourself, start advertising, start talking to people, let people know what you do. Because no matter the skill you have, if you don't tell people, they wouldn't know. Like, I'm a web developer, I can design website, this is what I've done, this is what I can do. Do you understand? And the good thing about it is that you don't need your own money to design a website for someone. Like, they'll pay you and then you design it for them. So with the money they pay you, you can buy a domain name for them and all those other things you guys pay for. Another business you can start with 100,000 naira or less is data reselling. Data reselling is basically buying data in bulk from service providers and then reselling to final consumers at a cheaper rate. To be successful in that business, you need to be a trustworthy person. Like, you can't do that business if you don't have people that trust you, or if you can't build trust with your customers. As a data reseller, you'll be selling MTN 5 gig for as low as 3,300 naira. So you should know that you're getting it at a very good bargain to be able to sell it at that price. Then Airtel 7 gig, you'll be selling it as low as 3,300 naira. Etisalat 5 gig, 3,300 naira. Glow 12.5 gig, 3,800 naira. So this is a business you can do with as low as 100,000 naira, because you specify the amount of data you want and then you get supplied and you resell. So there you have it. Those are 10 business ideas you can start with 100,000 naira or less. If you can pick one of these ideas and get somebody to pay you for it, business has started. Like, it's that straightforward. Business has started. But it's not about business starting, it's about business continuing. Okay, after that first person pities you and gives you money to do their makeup or to sell their house, or like just to do something for them, how do you continue? Do you have the skills? Do you have the passion? I know passion is one word that is overused, but I mean, at the end of the day, you need a certain level of passion, because that's what's going to keep you going. You need the skills, because with the skills, it makes your work a lot easier. It's about something you're interested in. Do you understand? It's about something you can do effortlessly, because I believe that whatever business you're starting should be linked to your talent. Talent can be loving to talk to people. If you don't love to talk to people and you're venturing into a business that requires you to talk to people, no matter how easy that business is, or no matter how easy customers come to you, you're not going to be able to sustain that business, because the foundation of that business is already flawed. You don't like people. All the ideas I've given you are businesses you can start with 100,000 naira or less, not grow with 100,000 naira or less. There's a difference. So don't come and hold me tomorrow and tell me, oh, you told me to start my business with 100,000 naira or less, and now the business has failed. Of course, like, what do you expect? I mean, the business has to scale and you need money to scale it. But I'm just saying that with 100,000 naira or less, you can start something. Do you understand? So just understand the difference. You can start with 100,000 naira, but you can't grow the business with 100,000 naira. That's all we have for you in this video. I hope you found it really useful. If you like this video and want to see more of it, all you have to do is subscribe to our channel and you get updates whenever we upload our weekly videos. But first, you have to turn on your notification. You can also subscribe to our newsletter via the link in the description box below, and you get notified whenever we upload our weekly videos. To stay updated with all our activities, follow us on any of our social media page. Thank you so much for watching. See you in our next video.